Test, test, test. Everyone hear me all right? Yeah? Awesome. Super excited to be up here with some old friends and some new friends. We're going to dive into a series of questions around social media, social tokens, DAOs, etc. But first, I think a couple intros. So I'm Andrew from Republic Crypto. You probably know us as a kind of a crypto investment banking framework. We work with a number of these guys here. But we'll go ahead and go through it. Sumit, you want to start?
Hey guys, I'm the CEO of Chingari. We are like India's TikTok with 30 million monthly active users. We recently moved from Web2 as a Web2 company to Web3. Excited to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm Ronil from Audius. Audius is a digital streaming service that connects fans directly with artists and exclusive new music built on Solana. And today we see about 7 million, just under 7 million people using Audius every month. Around 200,000 artists have uploaded so far.
Hey guys, I'm Tanmay. I'm a comedian, YouTuber, investor, and building a DAO in India. And I think Sumit and I are very bullish on India, and hopefully the next billion users will come from here. I'm excited. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Well, we'll just hop on into it. How do you foresee the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, and how can your companies and Solana help facilitate that transition?
Sure. So as a Web2 company, like a typical Web2 company, the team was deciding everything. Now we just launched a token called as Gari. We also did a public sale on Republic, a successful public sale. We raised close to $20 million there. And now we have a DAO, so all the creators, become decision makers, and they decide like how Chingari will grow. They decide on the future roadmap of the product, of the asset. So it's very democratic. It's like giving power back to your community. I think nothing better than that for Chingari.
Yeah, so I think at Audius, we've always felt strongly that in this transition from Web 2 to Web 3, it's really important to make Web 3 products feel and look and be approachable in the same way that they expect their normal Web 2 counterparts to be. So we've always kind of tried to go to very great lengths to structure that user experience in a way that users can approach and find easy. The majority of our users don't know there's any decentralized backing of any sort to Audius. Yet the way Audius is set up, like our company doesn't need to exist. It would all keep working without us. So being able to provide the value propositions around decentralization without beating your users upside the head with the fact that the product is decentralized every day, right? Not forcing them to download a Chrome extension and purchase some asset from an exchange to be able to use your product for a first time. I think that's the road to 1 billion users, and that's how those of us who are building early right now in crypto and at that forefront of consumer adoption in crypto can ease the transition.
I mean, I use Audius. I just found out that it's decentralized. I had no idea.
That's awesome. These guys are incredibly humble. They are doing some incredible things for the industry, and in particular on Solana themselves. So I'm going to kind of give a little bit of some bragging opportunities here. So Audius has done a tremendous job of abstracting the blockchain layer away from product, right? Which is an incredibly hard vehicle to do. Do you think that's been like a key to the overall success of the business, and really, like, how do you expand on that now?
Yeah, we certainly believe so, that it has been the key to the growth and adoption that we've seen. I think it's users shouldn't need to understand the full technical stack of the products that they use, right? How many of you all can say you know how Facebook or Twitter are built top to bottom, right? Like, doesn't matter. Service does a thing for you that's useful. Same thing for products like us. Sure, maybe some of your early users might come because of some of those marketing things, et cetera. But ultimately, users are looking for your product to do a job for them. And if your product can do that job well and can do it better than other things can, like, great, they'll use it. From our perspective, the value around decentralization comes from the artist's ability to own the relationship with their fans, to be able to message to them, distribute to them anything that they would like, and to get back all of the data that those fans generate around that relationship and those interactions, right? Being able to port those relationships between different kinds of experiences. And folks get that, and that's great. They don't need to know, how every single layer of everything works if the product can do those things well for them.
So what's the next phase, right? So you guys are doing that now, killing it. It's amazing. Everyone on this panel uses it. How do you expand that? Like, how do you drive that kind of to the next level?
Yeah, so the continuing growth around Audius, the growth so far has kind of blown away our whole team, and I think the whole community around it. So this time a year ago, Audius saw about 500,000 people using it on a monthly basis. Today we're nearing 7 million in a 12-month period, which has been pretty incredible, right? I think the chapters ahead to unlock, 70 million, 700 million users, that's where things will continue to go, are in continuing to provide utility to the community around Audius and giving them the tools to grow their audiences, which ultimately funnels back into growing the total aggregate audience around Audius, right? That network effect has kind of taken over at this stage for both of our products, right? And the nature of the game changes quite a bit, right? It's from our perspective, the next phases of providing value to our users revolve around helping them monetize those relationships and helping our artists do all of the things that they have never gotten to do on other platforms, right? That being able to connect those relationships they have with their fans across everything from, like ticketing or like the street teams that they organize around live shows, giving the developer ecosystem around Audius the tools to build all these things that one product can't serve all of. So
amazing. I think 500,000 to 7 million in 1 year. That's incredible. And so where Audius and Renil's team, they started crypto native. Sumit and Chingara, you guys started on the other side of the fence, right? You've got a massive Web3 community engaging with this app over an hour a day, I think is what your stats are. You just flipped Facebook in the Google App Store for most downloads for this month, which is incredible. How are you looking to onboard these active users into the role of participating into a DAO?
Sure. I think the value proposition that the Web3 ecosystem brings, where we tell our creators that, look, now you own your own content, or so basically every content that you upload on Chingari, every short video you upload on Chingari becomes an NFT on Solana, and then these NFTs go to a Gari marketplace, which can be bought, sold, and traded. So when you upload content on Instagram or TikTok, you are just giving your content away to them, and they monetize it, and you don't get nothing. I mean, the value proposition where you are actually sharing value back to the creators is what will enable them to be part of decision making, and it's like an incentive that I own my content, I am part of the DAO, and like my vote counts. So we will have like an interesting voting panel where all the Gari token holders will be able to put on-chain proposals, and this is all the Chingari user base. And they will be able to vote, like all the Gari users will be able to vote. So I think the community will decide, and they will see value in this. And I see the future of social, like Chingari has this opportunity where we can actually build the future of social media equal to the future of crypto. So like we could actually bring 1 billion users to crypto first. I mean, hundreds of millions of users in India will be actually minting Gari tokens before they even see a Bitcoin or Ethereum. I mean, Gari would be their first crypto, which they can use within the app. So that's like a really, really exciting opportunity, and it's like a huge opportunity that we have. So
yeah. No, I love that coming at it from both angles, which I think is absolutely essential to the long-term viability of the space, in particular on the social token side. At Super Team DAO, the goal of $1 billion DAO is super ambitious, right?
Yeah.
So where do you
It's the first time I'm vocalizing it, that we want to build India's first billion-dollar DAO.
It's recorded now, so
it's too late
you
now.
can't undo it.
Yeah.
Where do you see DAO's role in kind of ascending economies? I mean, India is a great example.
I think people yet aren't seeing the full potential of DAOs. I'm going to give the Super Team DAOs example, right? So the way to enter the DAO is, at least for us, we want to be a work DAO or a service DAO, right? So the way to enter now is we partner up with Solana ecosystem projects and we put up a bounty, right? Hey, write a deep dive about this project, or hey, can you redesign the website for this? And people apply, and then we give them money for having won the bounty, and then they make it to the DAO. So right now the DAO has 80 level 2 members, which is people who have shown proof of work, and then they've entered, right? So essentially for these guys, because India is ascending economy, they're currently making money in fiat, but post 6 p.m. in the evening, they have a day job, and now they group together and they're working on newer projects. People, different Solana ecosystem projects, they come in and they give something called an Instagrant. Which is anybody can come, pitch an idea, and then get a grant from one of the projects. And they make money in capital assets, which until now was not possible. Already, a few members of the DAO are making more money from the DAO than their actual job. And we think that India it's a talent hub, right? Like you throw a stone out of your window, it's going to hit 5 engineers. They'll actually tell you threw the stone wrong and all kinds of stuff, right? So we think that we're so bullish on Indian talent that I think it's only a matter of time before Indian talent is a part of multiple DAOs and working for global companies and making money through capital assets in a way that they never did. So that's one of the reasons why we're very bullish on Indian talent, and that's why I think we will be the first billion-dollar DAO from India.
Amazing. And what are some of the other markets you think that are really important to that vehicle?
I'm sorry.
Some of the other markets that are really important to that vehicle, even outside of that.
So other markets?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just so focused on India right now that I got blinkers on. But I think the principles that make this that make me so bullish on India, it applies to other ascending countries as well. I think we will see a pattern. And if there's anybody else who's trying to build a DAO in other countries, happy to chat about what we're seeing and some of the best practices.
Amazing. Pushing DAU overall and pushing the Web3 kind of agenda obviously is a huge goal of everyone in this crowd and everyone at the conference. What would you say are some of those common pitfalls that you see managing a Web3 community? What can everyone here learn from you guys that have been kind of pushing that needle? Maybe Renil.
Yeah, I think he started as a Web3 company, so.
Yeah. So we've been Web3 native, I guess, since day one. Even the first public version of Audius was fully decentralized. I think the one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen others continue to make, and we made early on too, was not giving the community the structure and information and tools that they need to do their jobs best. But more importantly than that, giving them the empowerment to create those things for themselves, right? Creating the expectation that there's a place for anyone that wants to join your community and contribute and create value. And there are kind of ways for them to level up through that process. That's how a number of our core team members have come to the project, was through joining the Discord one day and starting to engage. And there's a guy named Michael Cullen that runs community at Audius now who found us through that. So I think we have become much more thoughtful as a community around how to approach these things, and that is the coolest part about Audius today, right? Is that power is no longer in our hands or any individual's hands, right? The Audius DAO and the broader community of folks engaging with and earning the token are in the driver's seat, and the best we can do is to help suggest structure and see where they will embrace it, right? And that's kind of the key. Is being community first doesn't mean that you just ignore all the learnings of the last 50 years of how to build communities, right? Like, structure is important, but you also cannot declare that structure by fiat. You need to create the place and the space for the community to create that themselves.
Sure. I mean, so for us, like we had a very successful Web2 app, the users, like the typical problem for us is there is a large community, but they are not crypto native. Like 30 million monthly active users, probably 1% to 2% of them actually understand what is crypto, and these are the people who are most vocal right now. So from this 2% to 80% or 90%, making our community crypto native and making them understand what is crypto and Web3 and DAOs. I think that is the biggest challenge for Chingari. Like educating the Indian users or global users, like whenever we launch globally, educating non-crypto users who just use a short video app and start making money on it through crypto. Making them realize that you have voting rights, governance rights, and this token that you are earning by making videos can actually be sold in a exchange. This is like a massive work or educational work or job. I mean, I think that's the main challenge. I think we can easily build product. We have community. We can build that. Educating the community about crypto and maybe taking them from a non-crypto user to a crypto native community is, I think, the biggest challenge for Chingari going forward.
But Sumit, I think we should be fairly optimistic. We're one of the biggest democracies in the world. If there's one thing we know, it is how to vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is this something that you've been also dealing with, putting this DAO together, especially particularly at this size?
I think the problems with on the DAO side of things is, of course, there's the regulation and the legal aspect of things. Then there was payments, right? For me, in the DAO, like if there's one dashboard metric that I want to optimize for is how much money am I able to make for the folks in the DAO. So I think payment infrastructure is coming in, DAO tooling, we're speaking to so many different protocols in the ecosystem to figure that out. So there's not one single problem that feels like this is going to be an issue because for everything, the solutions almost seem like that they're figured out. But yeah, I think as long as we're able to figure out how to enable leaders that emerge from the community themselves, how to make them earn more money, we should be okay.
Awesome. The word creator economy gets thrown around quite a bit, right? That's a super hot term right now, and I'd love to have a really clear vision of what that looks like to you in a Web3 world, both from a short and a long-term perspective, because there's a path, right? I don't think that we can leapfrog to the end. So I'd love to see how you guys are thinking right now, because you're really leading the charge.
You to start with that?
Yeah, sure. I can kick that off. We've felt very strongly that over time, that kind of the vision for the future that Audius has is one where artists and fans are able to interact directly with one another, consume services and experiences from one another, and to do so without the burden of intermediaries controlling those relationships, take rates by those intermediaries, reducing the efficiency of the market and whatnot. And so what the creator economy trend is kind of speaking towards is more generally across creative areas are creators of all kinds. So artists are one of those, but so too could the person running a paid email newsletter or something like that. Folks are having more sovereignty over their audience and more control over that audience. I think where crypto comes in here and where Audius sees the decentralized aspect of the product being so important is that the end stage, the logical end stage of creators vertically integrating their fan relationships, their distribution, is them actually owning the distribution channels and tools themselves, right? Owning the ability to access those fans in such a way that it can't be taken away from them. And that's why we felt it was so important for the creators on Audius to also own the capital that backs Audius and to have control of the way that Audius evolves and grows over time. And I think that key aspect is really what makes Web3 and decentralized products different from the Web2 counterparts that have preceded all of us, is that for the first time, the creators of content that actually make these networks valuable not just have a seat at the table, they own the table itself, right? And creating the structures for those folks to earn that capital over time pays itself back to the network in such a profound way, right? Where all of the users that rely on these distribution tools around Audius, for example, are contributing back to the network far more than they are getting from it in terms of the ownership that they get. Like, there is an opportunity to grow the pie for everyone here.
So for Chingari, I think creators are the core of our product. I mean, creators create content, short video content on Chingari, and that is the core of our existence. Users come to watch these short videos. The entire business model of Chingari eventually will be around creator economy, but not ads. So Chingari will never run ads. No, like we won't be showing your news feed full of ads. It will all be Web3 business models. We are very particular about like how creators engage with their fans or how creators own their content. Like I was giving an example of the NFT marketplace. So all your content becomes NFT on Solana, and then they get bought, sold, and traded. There are a whole lot of creator economy features that we are building around creators. So users will be able to tip the creators or unlock content on Chingari app, or like get on a video call or get a video message with the creator, all powered through Gari tokens. Like if you are on Instagram, you have 1 million followers, and they message you, you don't even care to reply. But on Chingari, you could just take someone, or like you could be a staker of a creator, and if he becomes really, really popular, you will earn like a social APY. So for the first time, we are building staking on social platforms or social media. So the entire business model of Chingari will be around Web3 models and not on ads. I think, and creators are central part of our product, our community, and everything that we are building is around creator economy.
What is something you would say to creators that are considering, maybe moving to your platform or working on both platforms? What's something that you would say to them so they can understand the value of moving that audience?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very easy decision. On one platform, like let's say you create videos on Instagram or TikTok, all you get is what, like views and likes? I mean, what's the value of just views and likes? And if you look at the economic model, less than 0.001% of creators actually make any real money on Instagram or YouTube as influencers. Whereas on a platform like Chingari, you will earn from day zero. As a Chingari creator, we incentivize you with Gari tokens to create videos right away. So it's an easy decision. A platform which pays you or incentivizes you to use it, like what Axie Infinity has done for gaming and changed the lives of millions of Southeast Asians. We are exactly trying to do same, but on social media. Yeah. So I think for creators, it's a no-brainer.
Would you echo the same, or would you say even there's an additional value proposition associated with being an Audius content provider?
Yeah, I think actually I don't disagree, but I think we would frame things actually in the opposite ordering, which is the first value prop that folks come to Audius with, what we'll typically talk through with an artist. Typical artist who has, say, like 2, 3, 4 million monthly listeners on a centralized platform, their percentage of their fans that they are actually able to reach with information or offers or anything else through Instagram, Twitter, their email lists, it's like 1 to 2%. That's like insane to think about, right? If you have millions of people listening to you and you can reach like 50 to 100,000 of them, maybe on a good day. That's always where we start. We say, like, if you could build a scalable distribution where you actually own the relationships with those fans, there's so much more that you could be doing with them, right? And that's kind of the entry point into all of these amazing value propositions that you can get around decentralization. And once folks are already using Audius and starting to see some of that value come back to them in terms of what they're able to do on the fan engagement side, it's, oh, by the way, you're also earning ownership in this platform, in the process, and in this tool chain, and you actually have a say in and control of how this evolves over time. And yeah, we found that ordering to be much more interesting to artists because typically creators are looking for audience, and if they're not using something for audience, they're using it because it gives them some new, novel, different way to engage with their existing audience, right? So having an incentive for folks to bring their existing audience to Audius, because the value propositions around Audius mean that a fan on Audius is worth more than a fan on other platforms. That's kind of the first, the first step that gets the snowball rolling and growing.
It's crazy. You know, it's so insane because I make content on YouTube, right? I'm unable to have a one-on-one conversation with someone who's paying me on YouTube as a member. Like, that's still not possible. Like, it's insane that I have someone's wallet address that I can probably airdrop something on just because they follow me. That's pretty insane. I think one aspect of that creators haven't thought about there's the creator economy buzzword became really popular. There was this one article about 1,000 true fans, right? And that's what got everyone thinking. And I think what Web3 and crypto does is it actually supercharges that even further. For example, right? India is a daily active user country, right? We're not a revenue per user country, right? So a lot of creators here, they make a lot of money through branded content. That's primarily the main source of income. Now imagine if a creator like me, I come out and say, hey, here are 5 NFTs, right? Each NFT is one piece of brand content I'll do, and these are the only 5 that I do every year, right? My fans know I do brand content all the time. They're kind of tired of it. They'll probably just buy this NFT and just sit on it, saying 5 brands are going to come their way, and they're going to suddenly own a tradable asset. This is something that I'm actively considering doing. Creators don't think about dynamic pricing. Right, they often right now a lot of creators are looking at, hey, here's a PFP project, here's some art. But I think dynamic pricing is something that you just need one king to try it out for the first time, and all of a sudden everybody will start doing it. So Logan Paul, if you're listening, please do this quickly so everybody else can do it.
I mean, it's continually fascinating in the blockchain space. There's just so many ways to approach the problem, right? And there's so many different solutions. In particular, Solana creates really great roadmaps to attack it from different vectors. When we look at DAOs, I believe you all kind of look at DAOs a little bit differently, right? Again, same thing, you're attacking it from different vectors, which is great. So I'd love to, if you could share your approach to DAOs and how it's pivotal to your long-term gains.
Oh, I think I already explained. We're going to be a work DAO. I mean, as a creative person, I've never had a job, so to say, right? I've always been a freelance creative person, right? But I meet creative people all the time who are stuck at jobs, and I always ask them saying, what's the ideal day for you? It's to wake up, have your own dashboard of gigs that are available for you to do, and then you pick and choose, work at your own time. Everybody should work like a lion, right? Which is you sprint for a long time, and then you relax, and you eat, and then you sprint again. That's how creative people like to work. And I think most people should work like that. I think DAOs will enable that. So I think anything that enables people to do that in their professional lives, I think that model will work for a work DAO. I'll leave it to these gentlemen to speak about their respective models.
Sure. So in our case, it's a creator economy thing. All the creators who own Gari tokens, they have decision-making power within the DAO. And we truly feel, I think, creators who are central to the Chingari economy, they should have the power to drive how and what Chingari becomes 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. So in our case, it's pretty clear. Like, we want to give back the power to the creators and the users, and DAO is one model or the one way to do that. And I think that's a fantastic way to involve your user base, to involve your creator base in day-to-day decision making for Chingari and Gari.
Yeah. Running low on time, so I'm just going to fire one more quick thing out. You've all been making big splashes, big announcements, really doing work for all of us to help move the whole needle forward. Anything in particular that you really kind of want to highlight to the crowd here and the digital audience at large?
Sure. So Chingari is hiring across the board. If you are a programmer, UX guy, we just raised a ton of money. We are building the next version of TikTok, the Web3 version of TikTok. It's a very interesting project. Feel free to reach out to me at sumit@chingari.io. I'm very active on Twitter. Maybe DM me on Twitter. Excited to work with folks who want to change, social media or Web3 or get the first billion DAOs on a Web3 project. if you are looking to be a part of such a project, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I think same ask for us, specifically if you're a Rust developer and wanting to work on Solana things. We're particularly interested in talking to you. Other thing I would mention, I think we as like a community and ecosystem, I think haven't finished wrapping our heads around yet what tools like Solana are going to enable, right? When transactions are effectively free and can be done at mass scale. A product like Audius wouldn't be able to operate at the scale that it does without Solana. And I'm very excited to see the other things that this tool chain enables. So I think there's so many cool use cases that we've just never been able to explore before.
Not to be the cliche YouTuber, but do check out the Super Team podcast on YouTube. We've had Raj, Anatoly, Sumit, and a lot of Brandon from Phantom. We've had a lot of cool founders from the ecosystem on the podcast, and those 3 words: like, share, and subscribe.
Awesome. Guys, round of applause for these guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.